Hello, Clashers, and welcome back to your weekly episode of the Culture Clash. I'm your girl, Luis Villalón, happy to be back for another week filled with pop culture news and, of course, a sexy and amazing co host with us. I want to start off this episode by letting you know that we have a politician on the pod. However, I will not be talking about politics. I know. Clap, clap, clap. One, because simply I know that you can find politic news every single where. And two, and most importantly, simply because I have a camera does not qualify me to talk on things that I don't know about. So we'll leave that to the experts, and I'm going to do what I do best talk about people that I don't know, pop culture news, and gossip. So, with that being said, please help me. Well, actually, I could honestly list many, many accomplishments of my next co host, but I'm just going to say one that makes me so proud. He is the first openly gay black man to be elected on city council. Please help me welcome Reggie Harris.
Oh my gosh.
Hello,
What an
sir.
introduction.
I could go on an introduction for days. You know that.
Yeah.
You have worn many, many hats. You wear many
I
hats.
do.
But you know what makes us so proud, us in the community, it's the work that you have done and the doors that you are opening.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah,
Miss.
that's it's a part of why I do what I do. I think it's intentional. But yeah, thank you. I
We appreciate that. You're the Gia Gunn of our life. Do you get that reference?
Alyssa Edwards. I am an Alyssa Edwards stan, top to bottom.
Oh, is that your
Okay.
number one?
Oh, absolutely. Well, okay. Well, listen, because the girls will come after me. Yes, I love Alyssa Edwards. I love Alyssa Edwards because her face is always flawless.
Beats.
Her personality is so authentic, right? And all of these quirks, the tongue pop and the back rolls and the neck and all of this stuff, that's all Alyssa.
Yeah.
That's all Alyssa. And, I don't know her. I've not met her in person, but, I watch all of her reality TV shows, and I just do think that she has a heart. She's a real person.
Agree.
So I love me some Melissa Edwards. I know that the bitch shows up late to, can I curse? I
Please.
love I love that she shows up late to shows and she might not show. She got a chaotic mind, but
But
that is
fun
my
fact
girl.
about Alyssa Edwards, do
Yeah.
you know that every gig she performs, all the tips that she collects goes to the local queens that work there?
So you just strengthening my
fact.
argument. Strengthening my argument.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised by that. I'm not surprised by that
Fun
at
fact
all.
about her. And also the thing about I love Alyssa Edwards is that even when it's awful drag, it is still drag.
It is again the face, beat, perfection, the fit, the this. All of that stuff. Even when they panned her and what was that? Her first season with the camera dress. Do you remember she did the
Awful.
camera
That-
dress?
yes.
And it was awful, but I was still like, I mean, I'll buy it. And Rue loves her.
There was-
right?
yeah.
Rue loves her. I think Alyssa's the heir apparent to Drag Race.
Oh, you think?
I think that Alyssa, because when she went on, what is it, Global All Stars?
Yes.
They
They just
they kind
gave
of
her the
handed it to
crown.
her. Yeah, they got to hand it. I think that she is the heir apparent.
Okay, because yeah,
Hot take.
because a lot of people have been saying that it's Simone, but Simone looks so much like Rue, but Simone just doesn't.
Simone doesn't. I mean, well, Simone's an icon, and I mean
Icon.
that. First of all, that first look with those legs oiled, right, and then the do rag pantsuit number.
Yes.
Simone is flawless and gorgeous. Has heart. Is funny. My personal opinion does not have like the gravitas, right, to carry that show. And the reason I think that Alyssa Edwards is the heir apparent is because Alyssa is also cultivating her boy personality very much in the style of Rue. I mean, isn't she wearing, what is it, Epstein, Clyde, Parker, Epstein, Parker? What's his suits? Epstein, Clyde. Let me stop saying Epstein. Anyway,
I'm like,
okay.
"Ooh."
Let me stop there.
Let me stop there. I love that you love RuPaul's Drag Race, but you know one thing that I do find a little bit interesting. We were talking about pop culture and how everything is intertwined.
Yep.
And I think that we are about to see Drag Race not go through a low, but not be as popular as it once was.
Yeah, I think that drag race is. I think that drag is at a low, particularly because of the ubiquitousness of it, right? And I mean, and so partially for me, I grew up. I grew up in like, it's weird, and I don't. Well, it's not weird, but like, my uncle was gay, right? And my mom, I mean, she was a fat guy. I don't know if I should say that, but she was an ally, But
Okay.
and so I grew up with gay men. And I grew up with gay men that did drag, even before I actually really knew what they were. And I do grew up with gay men, like my Uncle Ricky's friend, Bobby, was like a puppeteer, and he had a puppet named Dimitri Joe Devereaux, which was a puppet styled after Patti LaBelle,
Word.
and he like would perform all over. And for my first grade birthday party, he came to my classroom and performed with the puppet. He would always do like a Patti LaBelle number. He had another friend. Her alternative persona, she was a drag queen, but her name was Miss Bosom Twaddle, and so she had a fat suit that had like tits out to here. So like I grew up with that. But then also his friends
The
were
drag.
fashion designers. So when he died when I was 12, pretty early on. His friend Sterling Capriccio designed veils for all of the women in my family. So all the women in my
Yes.
family wore like jacket. So just I grew up in faggotry,
Yeah.
right? I
I lived.
grew up in faggotry, and so I think as that relates to drag, part of what I think the appeal is that it was a little bit subversive, that it was not ubiquitous, and now I feel that it's so mainstream that for someone like me, it makes me less interested. But then I do want to say, on the other hand, I do think there's something that's very beautiful because, the double-sided sword of the internet is that it is both creates chaos and is the destruction of polite society, and it also creates access for folks who otherwise wouldn't be able to access these things.
Absolutely. And it has been like just a whole nother business. So happy to see so many local drag queens and
Yeah,
drag queens all
that's
over
true.
the world really being recognized and having a fair pay for
Yeah,
what they do.
that's true.
And it also, your story about your uncle and everything that you just told us just goes to show how important the community has been, especially for straight women. That through really hard times that women go through, there's always that gay man designing the veils or doing their hair for their wedding. It's not a thing from yesterday. The LGBT, the trans community, it's not a thing that was invented 20 years ago.
Oh, I mean, it goes. I mean, I mean, you if you're a student of queer history, and I'm not like deeply schooled. So when you look at queer history, LGBTQ history, and I'm not like a deep student of that history, but when you go back and you start to think about these sort of natural allyships and even the institution of bearded marriages, right, where women would marry their gay best friend because at that time they didn't
T.
have alternatives, particularly if they were of a certain social class, and that sort of mutual arrangement, which I think even today still happens. There is a deep, I think, allyship and respect when it works well between gay men and women.
Right.
But then I also think, and what I have witnessed as of late, is that there's also kind of an erosion of that allyship. And I think that I'm very offended when straight women come into gay spaces, gay bars, and they make the experience about themselves and they treat gay men as pets on safari and they just think that you should be there to entertain them. And then on the flip side, when gay men express a level of misogyny that I think is like really awful, particularly as a person that was raised by women. Uh, so that's a level of erosion, at least that I have witnessed over my lifetime. And I'm sure someone probably could say, well, Reggie, that has always been the case. And I wouldn't argue against that. But just from, my personal perspective, yeah, I think it's the internet.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Speaking of zoos and
Yeah.
treating people like animals, let's turn this around
Okay.
because we have a little game here
Okay.
called Gay Diva.
Ooh.
Do you remember that gay diva that you were just so young and you just fell in love with?
Oh my God. See, I knew that you were going to do this, and this is so hard for me because there are so many. And so one of the things you learn in political media training is that you never answer the question that's asked. You just say the thing that you want to say. So I'm going to say what I want to say. So
Yes,
at my
politician.
gut, at my gut, is Whitney Houston.
Work.
And, Auntie Nippy. And I have, in our house, my husband and I, on our fireplace, we have a mantle with all of our family members, and I have Whitney Houston's first album on there, next to my mother and my mother-in-law. And part of that is that, or you may or may not know about this. So my first career, I was a professional ballet dancer. So I started training at the age of 3. And so I'm obsessed with technique. I'm obsessed with people who have mastered a craft. And so you have this voice that, universally everyone is like, that is the voice.
Yes.
Technical perfection with heart, soul, and spirit, and just a very incredible personality. So I would say Whitney Houston. But you cannot understand Whitney Houston without understanding her cousin Dionne Warwick. Oh. Dionne Warwick was the original.
Yes.
When you look at young Dionne Warwick, those cheekbones, that booming voice, and like many black artists, when she moved to Paris, Marlene Dietrich took her and did a makeover of her. And she became this like fashion icon. So I love me some Dionne because my love of Dionne deepens my experience with Whitney Houston. But when I was a teenage boy, Toni Braxton just gave me everything. Toni Braxton is so sexy.
Yes.
So sexy. And that singing voice and that
and her persona.
One
of the things that as a gay man is I will always remember that Toni Braxton outfit that she wore. That cutout dress.
Oh, yes.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
The tannish kind of, or mustardy yellow-ish.
What
know what I'm
color
saying?
was it?
It was like,
I think it was the silver dress that had the cutout. Well,
yes.
Okay, that dress I'm talking about, it's a Gucci dress. But I'm talking about one that she wore to, I believe, the Grammys. It was so provocative. Like, it was a cutout. Can we get that picture?
Oh, I'm trying to see.
No, something similar.
Because that's later.
I'm going to send it to you.
I know what you're talking about, though. I know what you're talking about.
It was... No...
Well, she loves a cutout, apparently.
She does love a cutout. But that Gucci Tom Ford dress that you're talking about is stunning.
Oh, Toni Braxton. And this is actually a fact that I learned from a good friend of the culture class, Marcel, that, and it made so much sense to me, was that Toni Braxton's original album was written for Anita Baker. Oh. And when you think about it, and you think about Anita Baker's voice, and you're like, yes.
Now, what do you think of her sister? I told you I'm ratchet.
So, okay, here is my challenge with Tamar Braxton.
Miss Tamar. Where my people at?
My challenge with Tamar is that, a generous interpretation is that she's the youngest of a group of women who have big personalities and has probably always wanted this sort of equal level of recognition. And I get frustrated when talented people rely on buffoonery and trickery rather than their talent. Okay. You know what I mean? She can sing. She is beautiful. She is funny.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to do all that.
You don't have to do all of those things.
But the thing about child stars who are siblings to massive pop star or massive just stars, I have always put in the same category, like Janet Jackson as well as Kelly Rowland.
Yeah.
Now hear me out on this.
But Kelly Rowland. Oof.
Right, okay, but hear me out on this. Hear me out on this. I'm not even comparing their career.
Sure.
I'm just comparing their upbringing. If it wasn't for Beyonce and if it wasn't for Michael Jackson, Kelly Rowland and Janet Jackson's career could either be bigger than them or could be nothing.
Sure.
Because they would always be known as someone close to the mega star. Mm-hmm. And they're probably just as talented. Mm-hmm. They could have done exactly what their siblings have done, but we'll never know.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Yeah. So not to say that Miss Janet's career or Kelly's career isn't successful.
Yeah.
But they'll always live under the shadow of someone slightly bigger.
I'm going to push back, though. I'm going to push back on that a little bit. I hear what you're saying. And I do think that Janet originally benefited from Michael's success.
Of course.
But I think the defining piece is that she then went on to define herself. Now, would she have had the opportunity to define herself had she not been Michael Jackson's little sister? 100%. I agree. But I would at least say, for me, in my mind, Janet Jackson is a separate entity from Michael Jackson.
I think for America, I agree. I think outside of America, sometimes a lot of the times Janet
That's fair. That's
is
fair.
often set like Janet, oh, Janet, the sister of Michael.
Michael
Oh,
Jackson,
got
yeah.
it.
Yeah, no, I think that's
She
fair.
also has a career, and again, I'm gonna say that I might even like Janet's career more than Michael.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
okay, well, that is blasphemy to me, but we will move on.
listen, the hair tossing, the dancing, Michael gave it to you, but I don't know.
I
There's
mean,
just something
Pleasure
about a
Principle,
female.
when she jumped off that chair, well, when she did the foot on the back of the chair.
Yeah.
And also Pleasure Principle, let me tell you why I love that music video, number one. Her hair is wrapped for the gods, and any person who grew up with black women know the importance of a good wrap. And her
Yeah.
hair was wrapped for the god. She had on that gray crop top with those black jeans and those knee pads.
Latoya wrapped it up for her.
Oh
She,
God!
she
Well,
was given.
let's not
she was given a job.
do that. Let's not do
They
that.
said, Latoya, you can do my hair today, girl.
Not Latoya. Not Latoya.
I love Latoya. Latoya is one of my favorite celebrities in the world.
Did you ever see this video of Dionne Warwick being interviewed
Yes.
about "We Are the World"? Which, if people haven't seen The Greatest Night in Pop History on Netflix, which was the documentary about Lionel Richie and Michael Jackson writing "We Are the World," it is brilliant. I've watched
Okay.
it like 5 times. I absolutely watch it. It is a lesson in like pop music history. But
Put that on the map.
they're interviewing Dionne Warwick about it, and the guy is like, you had the greatest stars of that night: Diana Ross, Bruce Springsteen, Cyndi Lauper. He goes on and on. Dionne Warwick and Latoya Jackson, and Dionne goes.
Okay. One of my favorite parts of that was Diane Warnick, and I'm going to paraphrase it, but she said something along the lines of, you have some of the greatest vocalists of all times, Michael Jackson.
Yeah, that's
blah,
right.
blah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, she's naming people who are the greatest voices, talents, whatever. She goes, and Latoya Jackson.
That's right. No, that's how it went. That's how it went.
Listen, you know that there was beef, or like there was they said that Cyndi Lauper wasn't supposed to be there. It was supposed to be Madonna, but Madonna wasn't there because of someone being petty.
Yeah.
And now back like 2025, they're like, Madonna should have been there.
Madonna should. Well, sure, but Cyndi Lauper can sang.
A sang. Cyndi Lauper is the Katy Perry of the 80s.
Oh, wait.
I'm not saying that in a negative way. Not in a negative way. I'm just saying that Katy Perry will forever go on. 2060, she will still be singing Teenage Dream, and she will still be having a solid career. The same way Miss Cyndi Lauper is still getting money and royalties from Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Okay, yeah, I'll buy that. But I mean,
Miss Cyndi doesn't have to do anything. We just think of her as like an 80s pop icon.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Those are a lot of big takes. I have to sit with those.
Comment. If you don't agree, comment. Come on. Read a girl.
No. I agree. I think that Madonna, if she had been in that room, I don't know that she would have been able to have risen to the occasion in that room. Because one of the things when you watch on that documentary, Bob Dylan was in the room. It was a little bit past his like prime, but a legend.
But you're talking
right?
about legends, and you cannot talk about Madonna not being a legend.
Okay, sure. Yes. Okay, so I have a very controversial take on Madonna, and so I know the girls are going to roast me for it, and so we can go there if we want to.
Well, what's the take?
So here's my challenge with Madonna. Madonna is an icon. Madonna was a boundary pusher and a fantastic entertainer. I give all of that. I have been frustrated with Madonna because I think that she is clinging to youth in a vampiric way. And the things that I love about like a Janet, the things that I love about, other artists who are in different genres, a Gladys Knight, a Shaka Khan, is that their essence remains the same, but their expression of themselves revolve. Isn't Madonna 60 and she has like a grill? She has gold teeth in her mouth. She has cornrows.
I believe she's 67.
You know what I mean? And then she was on the Super Bowl a decade ago doing barrel wheels and almost fell. It's like, girl, stop. You're Madonna. You don't have to do all of that. Now, listen, I know people feel very strongly, and I have got heckled out of rooms, but this is my truth.
And you're sticking with it.
And I'm sticking with it.
Well, it might be another one who might heckle out of this, bro. Let me tell you. Let me ask you a question, okay? And let's clash.
Okay.
Why do we, as society, associate creativity with youth? Why do we associate the buffoonery that Madonna is doing on stage with youth when she has been doing this all of her life? We just saw Steven Tyler, what's his name? Act a fool on stage. A fool. What was the other one that was on the VMAs? We just saw Ricky Martin running out of breath. He is 55 years old. I am not hating on that. But then you watch Ricky Martin's reviews and it's like, oh my God, he looks so hot. Yes, Ricky, thanks for blessing us with that performance. But then when a woman starts aging and she continues to do what she has been known for, then we suddenly ask her to sit down. Madonna is just being a rock star.
Sure. And I appreciate that perspective. And my counter offer is Grace Jones. Have you seen Grace Jones lately? I just saw her in June in DC at the Anthem. Grace Jones, honey, is the queen of buffoonery and costumery and all of those things. And she's 70. And she's still on stage hula hooping for the gods, singing slave to the rhythm. But she is able to still be iconic. And at least my experience of it. My experience of Grace Jones isn't trying to replicate what she did in her 30s, but it is the evolution of that in her 70s. So for me, it's not about you can't do these things anymore. I just experienced Madonna doing these things in a way that is proving that she can, rather than sharing. And one of the lessons that I learned from one of my mentors and dance teachers, Lisa Johnson Willingham, former Ailey dancer, Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, before every performance, she would always get us in a circle and we would have to say, nothing to prove, only to share. And I feel like Madonna, in this late stage, to me, it's proving something and not sharing the evolution of her growth.
Yeah. I just think it must be, it's hard for anyone to age.
Of course.
For anyone to, for just your everyday Joe, aging is not easy.
Yeah.
Especially when you are a woman, that has been known for all of that, and suddenly when the world doesn't find you attractive, when the world doesn't find you that you look like Tate McRae or one of these young pop stars, and suddenly your art is buffoonery. And it's like, it kind of looks a little grandma-ish. I'm not going to lie. I was at her concert.
Yeah.
And the girl, she can barely keep up. But I promise you that next concert, if she is in a wheelchair, cussing people out with drag queens and making out with gay men, I will still be there. Because that's just the essence of what she has been.
Sure. I will not take any of that away. And I think that is right. And I appreciate that take. But like Taylor Swift, it's just not my cup of tea.
Okay, well, speaking of Taylor Swift, let's get into hot topics. Because the girl's ready to hate today. Yes. She is here.
I wrote my hater sunglasses.
She said it's the clash.
It's the clash.
We're going to clash. Well, let's get into hot topics.
Okay.
These are just pop culture news that are making a buzz around the world, and I want to get your take. So the very first one that I have is Taylor Swift announces The Life of a Showgirl release party. Taylor Swift just announced a special theatrical event, a release party for her upcoming The Life of a Showgirl album. The 14-time Grammy winner shared her exciting news on Instagram, inviting fans to a dazzling soiree only out in AMC theaters from October 3rd to October 5th. Fans who snag tickets will be part of the exclusive world premiere of the music video for her lead single, The Fate of Ophelia. Oh, that's a pretty name. And view exclusive behind-the-scene footage of how the video came to be, including cut-by-cut explanations of what inspired the music.
Okay.
So, let me put it down, and I have takes on this.
Okay.
Homegirl is putting out her first single and her first video at the AMC theaters from October 3rd to October 5th, so that's a weekend. I just had a conversation with Liam, I believe, about consumerism with the whole Taylor Swift situation, right? But I can't be too mad at the girl because she's just playing the game.
Yeah.
Another fun fact that I have for you, and this is how really she is shaping the music industry. Barbie in 2023, 24, summer of 2024, right? In the first week of showing, made $188 million.
Okay.
All right? This little video thing that Taylor is doing has already pre-sold $100 million. Now,
girl, can I borrow $20?
another crazy thing about it is that the studios are not happy with Taylor Swift because it is reshaping how movies are being reproduced and how they're being sent to movie theaters. Usually when you have a big movie, you go to a studio and they take care of the marketing, they take care of red carpets, all of that, right? And they get a commission out of every ticket that it's being sold. When Taylor Swift had the Eras tour that she wanted to do, she went to studios and said, hey, what about this? They came back and she said, well, thank you, but no thank you. And Taylor Swift, being the business savvy woman that she is, went straight up to AMC and said, hey, let's cut out the middleman. You and I, let's make a deal.
Yeah.
So now the studios are not happy with her because...
Sure. Well, she played their game.
She's playing their game.
She's playing their game.
You're not a Swiftie?
I'm not a Swiftie, but here's what. I'm not a Swiftie, but I respect Taylor Swift. So I'll tell you why. Just on a basic level, like her music doesn't really speak to me, right? And I, so I originally started off as kind of like a Taylor hater. I'm like, ugh, Taylor Swift, her music doesn't speak to me. But then like a lot of people who I really respect, like love Taylor Swift. Like they love Taylor Swift. My boss, the congressman, Greg Landsman, loves Taylor Swift. Oh
Hi,
my
Greg.
God. He goes to he goes to her concerts with his daughter. No, Greg's not gay.
Well.
But Greg would be like, oh, maybe. No, he's not. He's not at all.
Hi,
he's
Gregory.
like,
I'll take him to Taylor Swift. Is
he's
he married?
Super straight. He's married.
Oh, okay, then never mind.
He has a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old. And he and his daughter, they go to Taylor Swift concerts together, right? And I think Greg's a very smart guy. Do you know Jordan Young, friend here? Like, he loves Taylor Swift, loves it. So I have all these people in my life that love Taylor Swift. So I said, okay, well, like let me maybe learn more about her. And I think the more that I learned about her, the fact that she is a singer and she's a songwriter, she has a lot of creative control, over her, product. And then there was that whole controversy with Scooter Braun and, how she weathered that. I was like, okay, I get it, right? Like I can't hate because there is something there that like lots and lots and lots of people. So like I'm Taylor Swift agnostic. Like I think I respect her because she has created this role in music, and I think in many ways is shifting music. But like she just doesn't speak to me. She doesn't like her personality and all of that stuff. I think is lovely and is wonderful, but it just doesn't draw me in that way.
One of the most touching moments of the Taylor Swift concert. I've seen her 3 times. I saw the Eras tour twice. I was very lucky too. And one of the most beautiful moments that I got to witness was parents with their daughters, especially dads with their daughters. And I know that a lot of people, it's so easy to hate on Taylor. You guys know I hate on her every now and then. The girl makes it easy, and she's pretty, so like it's easy to hate on someone like
And then
Taylor.
especially when she was hanging out with all those models, and it was like, oh.
It's easy to hate on her. I get that.
Yeah.
But the energy that you felt the connection you felt between dads and daughters at the Taylor Swift concert, and now that she is a part of the NFL in one way or another, I have heard many friends, millennials who now have kids, saying like it has connected me to my daughter because now my daughter and I are watching the NFL.
Yeah.
She is watching it for completely different reasons
Yeah.
that I am, but for once in our life,
We have something to do together.
well,
Yeah.
or a Sunday night
Yeah.
didn't become of, this is my moment. This
Yeah.
really is like our moment. And for that,
I mean, listen, it's undeniable she is shifting culture and she is a force, right? Like, yes, absolutely.
well, I had tickets
100%.
for the show. I'm going to give them away instead of giving them to you.
Okay. Yeah. That's
You
fine. That's
said go
fine. I'll meet
ahead.
you afterwards.
Go ahead. Another show that is coming to Cincinnati, and
Yeah.
that's the main reason why I wanted to talk to you. Are you a Cardi B fan?
Oh. Oh. When
That
I talk
girl.
about someone that I just stand, I
Love her.
love Cardi B, and it's the because Cardi B is a sympathetic figure. Cardi B is a
Very.
smart woman. She just has this natural charisma. She is absolutely wild and insane.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that when Cardi B said, she said, "If I see you and I don't speak, that means I don't fuck with you."
And that's, yeah.
So yeah, so I love Cardi B. I love Cardi B and this whole past trial with
Hilarious.
her. Amazing. The press conference she had afterwards where she was like, "Listen, I let y'all bitches slide on this,
Yeah,
but like
but
don't get it
stop.
twisted." But then she said, "Listen, don't hate on this girl. Don't go online. Don't bully her. All this stuff. But if you try me
I will.
again,
I'll go
right?
back. Yeah.
I love her."
Listen, she already said what she had to say. She called her security heavy. Well, let me tell you the really, really good news. For
Okay.
us fans of Cardi B and for us people in Cincinnati, because Cardi B announces the Little Miss Drama Tour. In a major announcement following the reveal of her new album's feature, Cardi B is set to embark on her highest live run yet. The Grammy-winning rapper has officially announced the Little Miss Drama Tour, her first arena tour and her first live run in 6 years. Cincinnati will be happening on March 19th.
Okay, that's something I might have to get tickets for.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I have to go see her.
Yeah,
She is hilarious.
100%.
I also been hearing from rumors that that she has been pregnant every year ever since 2020
Hey, bet. Fertile.
because she does not want to fulfill her contract. And because she signed a contract with, I'm not really sure the music
Yeah.
person, like the music industry that she signed it with, but it's not a good deal. And she didn't expect for her to become so big.
Yeah.
So now she wants to renegotiate her contract, and they're like, nope, you got to go and make money. So that's the reason why they're not giving her any money to promote her album. And she's making a mockery out of this because the less copies that her album sells, the less room she has to negotiate her contract with any other music
Yeah.
industry. So they're kind of like setting her up.
Yeah.
But you can't keep a bad bitch down.
You can't keep it. Listen, you cannot. Absolutely.
Atlantic Record is
Yeah.
who's kind of like holding
Yeah.
Cardi B. So even pregnant and all, they're like, you have to go on tour.
I mean, she herself is. There's so much you can do, so much a spinoff you can do. She's just good TV.
So good.
She's good TV, and when you watch her in all of these things, like she's a student of history. And I watched some TV show where she just went on and on about Eleanor Roosevelt and how much she loved Eleanor Roosevelt, and I was like, yes, that's why I
Yeah.
love you. I think it was Hot Wings,
Yeah.
or what was it called? Hot Takes, Hot Ones,
Where,
Hot
like,
Ones,
they eat the
Hot
wings.
Ones. They would eat the wings. Yeah, I love Cardi B, 100%.
But a lot of the time, and this is really, I don't want to get too deep into this, but a lot of the time, women like Cardi B, who are so extremely smart, fly under the radar simply because of the way they speak or because they are such a character that we don't associate them with smartness, that we often just disregard their opinion because we have this like made up idea of who we think they are.
Oh yeah, I mean for sure. Here's the thing, right? And particularly we looking in American culture, there's a what is called, and so my husband's a linguist, and so I'm gonna be sort of linguisticky about this, right? So there's standard English, and standard American English is the way in which one speaks and uses their words, and there's a certain cadence that. Conveys a certain level of education and class, etc. And then anytime you have someone who is very smart, but they don't speak standard English, and maybe they speak African American vernacular English, or they speak a sort of combination of Spanish and English, or they use a certain cadence, or they have a certain accent, then we begin to discount the content of their words because they're not presenting it and wrapping it in a package that we're used to hearing, right? Or we have these preconceived notions that convey intelligence. And one of the things I love about Cardi B is that she just
Never
speaks.
switches.
She does not code switch. She does
Yeah.
not code switch. She speaks the way she speaks, and she
Absolutely.
says what she says. And I love that.
I love that. And I think it's a double-edged sword because she's so relatable in the way she speaks, we are often willing to hear what she has to say.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
That's
yeah.
right.
All right. Well, I want to get into a little game called Pop Culture Trivia.
Okay, here we go.
We are going to put 1 minute on the clock, and I'm going to ask you as many questions as we possibly can.
Okay.
To see how many you can get correct.
Oh, wow.
If you don't know, then just say skip.
Okay.
Okay? And then we'll come back to that.
Okay, wow. And I'm competitive too, so this is not good.
Oh, I sent you all the topics, but I didn't send you this.
No, I know you did. I was like, oh, okay.
I am not sending you this. And
Okay.
I have a really good one to start you
Okay.
off with. Like, you're going to be like,
Okay.
and oop.
Oh.
All right. We have 60
Jasmine
seconds
Masters.
on the clock.
Okay.
The clock will start after I say the first question.
Okay.
Okay. What color was the infamous Monica Lewinsky dress?
Navy blue.
Name the original Destiny's Child members.
What was that? Latanya. No, skip. I don't know.
What former U.S. president did Marilyn Monroe had an alleged affair with?
Oh, JFK.
True or false? Princess Diana never attended the Met Gala.
True.
False.
What?
She did.
Oh.
Okay, anyways.
Yeah.
What is the name of Beyonce's athleisure line, particularly named after her first daughter?
Oh, isn't it like Ivy Park?
Yes. Which basketball legend appeared alongside the Looney Tunes character in Space Jam?
Oh, Shaquille O'Neal.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Oh, shoot.
What movie is this line from? Say hello to my little friend.
Oh, The Godfather. No, Scarface.
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 What singer famously performed with an albino python at the MTV Video Music Awards?
Oh, Britney Spears.
How many times did Elizabeth Taylor get married?
Oh, 165,000.
Good one. Good one. She got married 7 times.
7 times.
But 2 out of those times was to the same man.
Richard Burton, right?
Yes. And then the original Destiny's Child members was Beyonce, Kelly, Latavia, and Latoya.
Latavia. I knew it was 2 laws, and I didn't want to get
was
canceled
close.
for being like Lafanya, la 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 la. Yeah.
It was absolutely close. Okay, well, I have one last little segment, which is
Okay.
called That Is So Gay
Okay.
News. And then after that, I want to move into the most exciting part of this episode. I want to ask you everything about your life and everything that happens in the White House.
Okay.
No politics. I don't care about that. I care a lot, but not here.
Okay.
So, in this gay news, let me tell you, speaking of Madonna and speaking of her acting a fool, Madonna announces new album and says she is leading back to the dance floor. The Vogue singer announced her new album on Instagram last week. Madonna is reuniting with DJ Stuart Prince, with whom she worked with on Confessions on a Dance Floor, increasing the likelihood the new album is sequel to the 2005 album. She shared a carousel of rose-colored images of herself in a lacy garment with a purse that reads Pussy Power and gold heels. So let's talk about Madonna. She is giving us another album.
Okay.
She is, can we check how old Madonna is? I want to say 69 years old. And she is giving us a disco moment.
Okay.
If you are a gay person, Confessions on a Dance Floor, it's 67. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
Madonna watches the show. And
Okay.
we don't mess with her age, girl.
We don't. But she clearly not fucking with me. No. After this episode.
But she is allegedly bringing back like another era of Confessions on a Dance Floor.
Okay.
Are you a fan of Confessions on a Dance Floor?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I mean, I enjoy Madonna's music. I think that after Confessions of a Dance Floor was when I was a little bit like it was that MIA collaboration, the cheerleading. That was when I was kind of like,
Yeah, like girl.
but sure, absolutely.
I'm excited. I believe Confessions on a Dance Floor, it's on the top 5 best gay albums of all time. I think it's right up there. And if we get another era of that, even if it's just through music, I'll take
And listen,
it.
and I love disco. Like so anytime there's a throwback to that, I mean, Vicky Sue Robinson's Turn the Beat Around. If you don't know Vicky Sue Robinson's Turn the Beat Around, you need to listen that, baby.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
It's like disco calypso. So I love disco in general. So anytime you go back to that,
And speaking of disco,
Yeah.
please go back and give Renaissance another listen.
What an incredible album. And actually, just not to detour, but just with Beyonce, I actually grew into a Beyonce super fan, and I originally just was like, oh, Beyonce, yay, but then I fell in love with her because what I love about Beyonce is that every album, every movie, every concert, you just see her skill level and her craft get
Yeah.
better and better and better. Every interview, more polished, more polished. And I love a hard worker, right? Do not confuse me with Kim Kardashian.
Ooh.
But like I do believe in hard work when people do actual hard work, not what she does, but actual hard work. Um, and Beyonce is someone that you just see the craft and
The dedication.
every time, and you're like, yes,
You can't fake that dedication.
you can't. Absolutely, I love
And
that. I love that.
you are also seeing it in her daughter, the
Yep.
way Blue Ivy is growing up.
Look at how blues progression even on tour.
Yes.
From that first thing to there. Yeah, no,
It's
I love.
insane.
Yeah, yeah,
One thing, when I talk to people about Beyonce, and they're like, I'm like, listen,
yeah.
you might not like her music, you might not connect with her, but one thing you cannot say is that that girl gives you 120%
Every time.
every time.
Every time.
Things might not go her way.
Yeah.
When we have seen, it is not her fault.
I mean, just think about this moment. Think about like a person who has been in the spotlight for so long and avoids all types of drama. Remember when Solange beat the shit out of Jay-Z in that elevator and Beyonce slinked into that corner? She slinked into the corner of the elevator and we don't talk about it.
That's the
we
sister
like
you
we
want.
don't like we don't talk
We
about it.
don't.
Like she just sidestepped that.
I love how unrelatable she is. I love that she lets us know that she is rich and she is not out here like, oh, nope, I am rich, honey. And I love that.
I
I love that.
love how unrelatable she is.
Yes, yes. I like the
That's
thing.
diabolical, but it's so true.
No,
Because she
because
doesn't let you in to anything.
and she shouldn't.
It's
She gives us music and her life. She has worked hard, and if she has a $200 million mansion that she flies into a helicopter and bathes in sparkling water flown from Italy,
Yeah.
girl, you deserve it.
Yeah.
You are that girl.
Yeah, yeah. No, I appreciate that. I love how
Yeah,
unrelatable she is.
I love her, and I did not become. I have always been a fan of her music and
Yeah.
everything, but I became a true fan of her after Renaissance and after seeing the tour.
For me, it was Lemonade.
Lemonade.
Lemonade was the moment for me where I was like,
Wow.
okay, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But isn't
Yeah.
it so interesting how music has this way of really touching within our own traumas, within our own culture? Because Lemonade was such a black album.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Black women, especially women empowerment,
Yeah.
right? And then Renaissance was such an empowerment to the queerness that Beyonce grew up with.
Yeah.
And it feels so authentic that you can just feel it and you're like, shit, this is me.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, the girl is speaking to me. And I think that you just haven't listened to the right Taylor Swift song. One day you'll listen to that song
And I will. My heart will remain open to it.
and you'll text me that day.
Yeah, I will. I'll be like, let me tell you,
Gorgeous.
I'm converged. Wait, what is it? Converted. Yeah.
Yes. Well, let's get to the real interesting
Okay.
things. I want to talk to you. You have such an interesting life.
Yeah.
The community, we are so proud of you.
Thank you.
Where you are, where the many hats that you wear, how you represent us, and most importantly, rather than representing us, the way you represent yourself.
Yeah.
That's really, really amazing. You were the first openly gay black male to be elected for city council.
Yeah.
The first question that I have, dumb down what city council does for the girls and I.
Yeah. Okay. So great. So just so you know, for clarity, so I was elected to council twice in 2021 and 2023.
Correct.
I resigned a year ago, actually, around this week, to join the Biden administration as a presidential appointee. I was the Deputy Assistant Secretary of Economic Development at HUD, the Housing and Urban Development Department. So just to say, so I'm not currently on city council. But what city council does, and I think this is a great question, what people need to know is that the most important political body in anyone's life is your local governing body. Your local governing body has the most impact on your day-to-day life. Your local governing body determines whether your trash is going to be picked up. They determine whether your roads are going to be paved, your potholes are going to be filled, right? They help to determine what the housing market, the rental market is going to be like. They determine public safety. They determine access to local libraries and your school system. Your day-to-day life really is determined by your local government. And so Cincinnati City Council does that. It's a 9-body member that has full voting authority, right? So our system of government is called a city manager, mayor, strong council. So the city manager is the, let's say, is the chief executive officer, right? Is in charge with executing the vision of the mayor and the council. The mayor is what we call like a sort of a semi-strong mayor in the sense that the mayor does not actually get to vote on any legislation, but the mayor can veto council legislation. So that is the power that the mayor has. The mayor has two very important pieces of legislative power. The mayor can veto council votes, and the mayor has the power to set the agenda. So what is being brought up to vote, right? Council is the governing body. They vote on everything. So anything that happens, you have to get a majority of council votes, so you need to get at least 5 votes, right? So it's just incredibly important because your day-to-day life really is determined by your local governing body.
And those are 9 people. How often and when is it that we vote and elect them?
Yeah, so folks, you guys have an election coming up in November. November is an election for city council. City council, they serve 2-year terms, so they're up in the odd years. And and then you vote every 2 years, and you can serve a maximum of 8 years continuously, right? So 4 2-year terms, and then you would be termed out, and then you wouldn't be able to run again.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
I love that. I think sometimes we get so caught up on like the presidential elections and we kind of forget that our government really and our safety and our everyday needs really come from people
From
like
your
you.
local government. That's
So
right.
yeah, there you go, girls. In November, we're gonna put the exact date below
Yep.
where we are going to vote. Make sure that you are registered to vote and make sure that your voice is being heard.
That's right. Absolutely.
That is, I'm not telling you where to vote, who to vote for.
Just
It
make
is
sure you participate. Just make sure you
exactly.
participate. Many people have fought and died for the right to vote, and it is important. And I reject any person that is cynical about voting, that is saying it doesn't do anything. It absolutely does. Typically, city council races have very low voter turnout. We have races as low as 21, 22% of the voting electorate. And so you can't say, complain about what's happening when you're not voting, right? It's going to make a difference if we have 70, 80% turnout. So it is important.
Don't vote, vote.
Yeah.
There you
vote.
go.
Yeah.
Now I really want to get into really like I have so many questions for
Yeah,
you
let's
in
do
the
it.
pop culture. You have been to the White House.
I've been to the White House several times.
What is it like? Like, okay, say you are going to the White House tonight.
Yeah.
Is there a preparation prior to it? Like your name is on the list?
Okay,
Do
I
you
love
go
this. I love this. I'm
through
gonna
a
walk you
drug
through
test?
it.
Like tell
No,
me,
no, no.
tell
Okay, so
me.
I'm gonna walk you through it. Okay, so here's okay. So when you are invited to the White House, right? You always have to go through a security screening. And so what that security screening is that you have to send in your name, your date of birth, and your social security card, and they do kind of a low level background check
Okay.
in order to be able to enter.
Okay, I
And then
can
you
pass
have to
that.
get confirmation to go. There's various ways that you can go to the White House, right? So, like as chief of staff to the congressman, one of the privileges that I have is that I can do what are called chief of staff tours, and so I have a certain ability to be able to give tours of the White House as a chief of staff for people who are in our district. But when people want to come do like a touristy tour, they still have to provide that information and get that sort of low level background check. When you're invited to the White House as a guest in a political event or a political function, it's similar to that, and you go in through a different entrance to the White House, and it's most likely the East Wing. The East Wing of the White House is where the First Lady's office is.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's really cool, and I think that that entrance is on Constitution Avenue, and so when you go in, you have to show your ID, and then they hold your ID. Um, with sometimes they give it back, but then you get a visitor's lanyard, right? And then you walk through this sort of like very circuitous path that is lined with like Secret Service, and then you go through your first security check, which is when they actually check you in, make sure you're on the list, all those things. Okay, so you do that, you go on checking on your list, and then you walk through a magnometer, and so they do a scan to just make sure there isn't like any radioactive material or anything there. And then after you go through the magnometer, then you have to take out all of your belongings and then go through a traditional,
Like screen detector.
a metal detector. And then you go in. So I have been to the East Wing several times and went to events in the state room. So, you see that big gold room where they do the Presidential Medal of Freedom and they have concerts there. I've been there. I've been to all of the Red Room and the Roosevelt Room and all of those things. And that's typically where they have receptions. The United States Army and Marine Corps band typically are playing. The Marines are the like stewards. They're the host of the White House, and they're like very hot.
Okay.
Marines just like sitting around, and then they're so nice. And the Marines are like you can ask them to take pictures of you. Like that's what they're for. Like you get there, you want to take a selfie with you of all the portraits, and you see a Marine, so we take a picture. And the Marines are always like, yeah, no, great here. They're so lovely because that's a part of their rotation is to be host to
Host.
facilitate it.
Not so much the Secret Service. They're
No,
very.
so the Secret Service, and you only would really see. So I remember one time when I was at the White House, I was attending an event at the Rose Garden, and it was in the Biden administration, and Dr. Joe Biden had revamped the self guided tour of the East Wing, and so she did a little presentation, and then we were inside and we were standing, in the vestibule. And so when you think about the Rose Garden, there's this pathway behind it. You see it all the time on TV, and I'm just standing there like talking to a colleague of mine, and like Dr. Joe Biden just walks by because she was like going to her office, but you see like it's always sort of flanked. There was like two Secret Service agents. It was her and then her, you know. Because it's like so you will at times, depending upon the event, run into Dr. Biden or the first lady or whoever the president is, based on the situation. The West Wing, where the president and operates out of, that's very hard to get into, and you most people don't get tours of the West Wing. You go into the West Wing for very official events. Maybe if you're a parent or someone works in the West Wing, they might be able to get you in. And I've never been to the West Wing, and I've never been to the Oval, and
Okay.
that's not uncommon. A lot of people who've worked on Capitol Hill forever have not been able. Like that's a real honor and privilege to go into the Oval Office. But right across from the West Wing is this building called the EEOB, the Eisenhower Executive Office Building. And so when people do meetings, so if you meet someone and they're like, oh, I'm going to the White House for a meeting, they're going to the Eisenhower Executive Office Building. But when you walk out that building, you see the like door to the West Wing, and you just like see all of these Secret Service agents, and they have like rifles and this and that.
It's scary.
It's wild. And then the last thing I'll say that people don't recognize is that the Treasury Department is literally across the street from the White House. Like it's on the same campus. So Treasury and the White House are like right there together. And so when you start to think about like our, country and values, like where's the Treasury Department?
Right there.
Right there
That's
from the White
wild.
House.
I mean,
Yeah,
that is just history. And to go into going into the White House is a privilege itself,
absolutely.
regardless of where you stand in politics.
I
It
agree
is,
100%.
I mean, how can you not? How can you not?
And you feel it when you're in there. You feel it.
The
Like
power.
you're just like, wow, this is an incredible building.
Where crazy like decisions have been made.
Yeah.
Where it has shifted where we stand in the world.
Absolutely.
Precedents have walked by world leaders.
Yeah.
And I can only hope and dream and put it in my delusion and manifestation that one day I'll get a tour.
Yeah, no, you can. You can come to DC. I can give tours. I'll give you a tour of the White House.
Okay, well there you go, guys. We are going to DC. Pile up, Megabuzz. We are coming.
Yeah.
Great, good to know. So can people like get a tour?
Yeah, so you can go onto the White House website and request a tour. That's a harder, way to go. There's sometimes a wait list. You have to go out. Congressional offices, we have a certain access to tours, and so we always tell constituents to reach out to us, and then we can try to plan a tour. The thing that you have to understand about White House tours is that it's not consistent because it varies based on what's happening. So like if state leaders are visiting the White House, then they probably cancel tours for the week before and a couple of days after. Lots of things can be happening. So right now they're not currently offering tours of the White House because they're doing some construction. But I will say, even in this crazy time, one of the things that I do appreciate about Washington, D.C. and these institutions is that there are some institutions that are just not politicized. And one of the things is like access to the Library of Congress, Capitol Hill, the White House. And when you work with those people who facilitate you being able to do tours and stuff, it's very standard.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't expect it to be like, a city fair
Yeah.
where everyone can come in, but great to know.
I mean, if everyone can tour the White House, I mean, you have to pass a background check, but
Of course.
we've actually had some people who are like, no.
Well, I think I can do that. Just don't give me a drug test. But that's very, very amazing. I'm always fascinated. And I can't even imagine the construction part of it because if just going into the White House as a guest, it's crazy. Imagine doing construction there and the people coming in and out every day. I am
So
fascinated.
what that is that there's only a handful of firms that get vetted that are then on a list that are able to do that, and all of those people have to have a certain level of security clearance. So anytime you work construction, janitorial services, any of those things, many of those people have security clearances.
And I hope they get paid very, very well.
Well, that I don't know, but I hope so too.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so because, I'm fascinated by politics. Again, not in a way of me getting into politics, but just the pop culture of it all. Really quick, again, not to get into it, but last week I'm sure you saw the whole circus that the UK put together for us in the US. Right?
Yeah.
And I call it circus because the whole dinner, the princess and all. But it just made me realize why I love pop culture so much.
Yeah.
And it's such a dumb way of explaining what's going on in the world. So Princess Catherine wore this beautiful dress.
Yeah.
Right. And I started watching pictures of the White House, the Oval Office, and everything that's going on. And it's like, holy shit. Like, we are playing politics.
Yeah.
Our current president clearly loves the Princess Tale, the gold accents in the Oval Office. And Catherine said, in order for you to discuss politics with my people, I need to make sure I look my best for you. That I give you exactly what you want. A Disney princess with long flowy hair. Beautiful dress. I mean, she looked like a Disney princess. And then that is how politics work, because then after that, our president will go in to talk to UK people about tariffs and everything that I am not equipped to talk about and schmooze them up.
Yeah. Well,
I
listen,
love that.
it's politics. Well, I always say that people say, like, I don't know politics or I'm not equipped to talk about politics. And first of all, everyone is political. When someone says to me, I'm apolitical, I'm like, no, you're not. Everyone's political. Are you a member of a family? Are you a member of a friend group? Do you belong to a church club? You are political.
Right.
Because you're navigating relationships all of the time. Politics is just it is relationships, and it is about how we talk to each other and how we align. In its ideal form, it's about compromise, and it's about in its ideal form, it's about compromise and power. In its less ideal form, it is just about power. But power is also about relationships,
Right.
right? The type of power you wield. Do you wield a power based out of fear? Do you wield a power based out of respect and admiration? Do you wield a power based out of mutual benefit? But it's all relationships. And so all of these events really is about relationships and the sharing of custom and projecting power and strength.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
when I say that I'm not into politics, I am very much into politics. But at the end of the day, my goal has been that people can really escape and people can just talk about things that might not seem important, like Kate Middleton's dress.
Yeah.
That it might have a far more importance in the world,
Yeah.
but that's what I want to
Well, but I
focus
just want to
on.
say, let me tell you why this is important. Because I think that in this hyper partisan time, and I've encountered this, and I feel very strongly about this, people would say, well, like, they don't vote this way, so I'm not going to talk to them. And I think that is actually the death and destruction of
Right.
our civil society. Because if you want people to shift their opinion, if you want people to humanize you, the greatest way to do that is to be in community with them. And the greatest way to do that is to have conversations about things that aren't the hot button topics, and you actually recognize, oh, well, we have more in common. I really like you. I didn't know that I would really like someone who is XYZ thing. I am such a fan
Yeah.
of just this, of sitting down with different people and just talking about the world, art, politics, TV, this and that, because you're going to learn a lot about a person's perspective anyway. But now we're in relationship with each
Yeah.
other, right? And now it's like I know something about you, and now I'm like invested in you, and then I become invested in you, and like, well, I kind of want you to be cool,
Yeah.
So yeah.
And the key word here, compromise. And I believe everything that you just said. I 100% agree. And the key word is compromise here.
Yes.
Now, let me ask you one last question before we let you go.
Yeah.
Tell me probably like maybe the highest ranking official you've ever met or the craziest experience that you have had in politics, White House,
Yeah. Okay.
anywhere.
So I would say, so the highest ranking person that I have ever met in an American context, I've had the pleasure of meeting President Joe Biden twice. So, but like the craziest experience was meeting His Royal Highness Al Hussein bin Abdullah II, the Crown Prince of Jordan. He will be the King of Jordan, his father, King Abdullah. And he.
Wait, parenthesis. I love his wife.
Yeah, wait.
Her fashion. Oh, I'm sorry that I'm blanking on her name. Her fashion, it's
I
exactly
think it's like Rania.
whatever it is. I would like your closet,
Queen
ma'am, and I would
Rania.
like for you to be a co-host of the show.
I mean,
Anyways, go ahead.
stunning,
Yes.
stunning. But His Royal Highness is hot. Like His Royal Highness is, I met him and I was like, oh, you're better than me. And let me hear what I'm saying. Like, I didn't feel bad about myself, but I was like, you're just.
There are people who have that aura.
I was just like,
Yes.
you were like better than me. Like, I don't know how
yes.
else to say this about you.
Where you just question, like, do you even poop?
Yeah, right. I
Little
mean,
things like that, yeah.
His suit was so perfectly tailored that it fit beautifully when he was standing, when he was sitting down, hands manicured, face, and he was he was charming and gracious and nice. It was everything. But what was so wild about it is that, a week prior to his visit with my boss, there was an advanced security team, obviously. They came, they swept our office. But the day of, there was this woman, and we have this on the U.S. side, and these are called protocol people, and protocol is just the security measures that happen. And so, even sometimes for congressmen, like they get protocol with the airport, and so if you go to the airport, you can go straight from the curb to the gate. And so protocol, so she advanced, and she's this beautiful Jordanian woman. She's super sweet. She is in the fiercest tailored, like little navy blue suit, red scarf, dark jet black hair. That bob was
Yes,
bobbing,
Bob. A
red
powerful
lip,
Bob.
matte red lip. Like I was like, I'm obsessed with
Yes.
you. So she comes in, and she's like looking at our office, and she's like, okay, so where does the congressman sit? And I was like, he sits here. I was like, okay, well, here's a chair. The crown prince is gonna sit here. Here's a little pillow. Here's his pen and his pad. She's like going through our office. She's like, can we move this? Can we move that? Can we move this? And then she was like, okay, well, you will sit next to him. The ambassador will sit here. The blah 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 blah. This, that, and the other. We need a staging area. It was my office, because my office, the way it works is that there's a main entrance into my office, and then I have a door that connects me to the congressman's office, and that's what I typically use. And so she was like, okay, so because you can come through this way, and we'll do this. Here's what the congressman has to do. He has to greet him, and then I'll invite him into the office, and then he has to pose him for the picture by gesturing here, this, that, and the other. She gave us all the thing.
Whole, yeah.
And then, baby, that moment came. She opens the door. She's speaking into a little headset, da 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 da. And then you just see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people enter. 9, 10, security surrounding. 12, Crown Prince walks in, goes right into my office. 13, 14, 15, stand. And I was like,
What is going on?
so then my boss comes in, they greet each other and this, and then she was like, okay, so the congressman will greet the crown prince, the crown prince will go, the congressman will go, then you will go, then the ambassador will go, this, that, just all of this stuff. Choreographed to a T.
But a lot of the time, we don't think about those little moments that, like, you cannot look stupid on camera.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, the prince cannot look like, where am I sitting? Or be seated at the incorrect position where he doesn't look powerful. Like, we don't think about those things. We all just think like, oh, these people show up and there's a seat for them. Everything is choreographed.
And listen, I've never met royalty before. Like, I didn't know. I was like, what do I call him? She was like, His Royal Highness.
You did now?
I was like, I did now. And then, when he sits down, we sit down. When he stands up, we stand up. And I just know, so like, that was just really cool, because it was like a cultural humility lesson, right? We don't have a monarchy in the U.S., so I don't know how to interact with that. But it was also very humanizing, because we're sitting down, we're in a meeting with these people and talking, and he is just a normal human person who happens to be incredibly hot, but also like kind and nice, and and all of this stuff. And so it was just cool. It was just like a cool experience.
And at the end of the day, just doing his job.
Just doing the job.
Just doing his job.
Doing their job.
Well, Reggie, I could sit here and talk about White House pop culture for days. But before anything, I want you to show a little shoe cam to the world. Yes, little gold. Are those the Trump sneakers?
Oh,
they're not. Okay,
these are champions.
They're
these are
really
champions,
cute.
and they're gold. So I like to have
Bling,
like a
bling,
gold
bling.
and a silver sneaker.
Bling, bling, bling.
That I wear. I have a pair of silver Nikes that I wear.
Love them.
Yeah.
Well, Reggie, thank you so much for being
He said,
here.
"Are these Trump sneakers?"
No,
Girl, no.
she said no. I could sit here and thank you for everything that you do, for opening up so many doors for the community, and really for just being a voice for us. We really, really thank you, and we are so, so proud of you. Is there something else that you would like to tell the Clashers?
Well, I just actually want to say thank you to you, and I want to give you your flowers. I think that this is an incredible thing in the community that you are creating. I think it's creative and it's fun, and it's a thing that we need in this sort of internet space that is connecting and feel goody and fun, and I'm happy to be here. When you first dropped the first episode, I was like, well, I want to be on.
Well, we could not do this without you and without everyone at home who supports and watches us. Thank you so much, Clashers. We will be back next week. I hope you guys Have a wonderful weekend. Please give us your Instagram handle so that the girls can follow you.
Yeah, well, it's private, so I'll like to screen but it's at Reginald Jarvis, Reginald Reginald Jarvis Jarvis.
There you go. Make sure that you guys are following us at the culture_clash so that you can stay up to everything that is going on, some events that are coming up, and some really, really interesting things. So we'll see you guys. Thank you for being here and have a good weekend.
Oh my gosh.
Yay, we did
That was so much fun.
it. So good.
Wow.